Hello, my fellow concerned friends, and happy Wednesday. Look at me. I just want to take a second and give myself a round of applause because I finally got around to filming, editing, and posting a midweek video. And it feels like a really long time since I've done that. And I much prefer doing that because when I'm only posting like once a week, I feel so disconnected from you guys. And I feel like there's so much happening online so fast that I'm like not being able to like cover because whatever. All that to say, look at us back on our regular timed schedule program. I'm not really coming up with things off the top of my head very good on the fly today, apparently. And today's concerning topic is less concerning because like I told you guys in like another video sometime back, I want to save like my Saturday/weekend videos to be like that more long form content and like more heavier, hard hitting, more dark and stuff. And then my midweek videos, I want to keep it just as concerning and, awareness spreading able and things like that, but on a lighter note. So today we're looking at Reddit's Am I the A-hole, but specifically posts about mothers and specifically children and adult children asking, was I in the wrong? Am I in the wrong? And it's probably going to get juicy. But before we dive in, have you subscribed yet? Subscribing really helps my channel a whole lot. It tells YouTube that the content that I post is good content that needs to be shared, and I would just really appreciate it. Join the fam, join the Concerned Friends Club, if you know what I'm saying. And yeah, let's get into this. Am I the a-hole for saying to my mom at family dinner, well, I wouldn't stay with a man who hits my kids, so I guess we have different priorities. Oh, I wouldn't either, girlfriend. I wouldn't either. As a mother, we do not hit our kids. Our kids don't get spanked. We don't flick their fingers to teach them a lesson or like smack their hand out of the way or something. The only time our children gets hands laid on them that is not affectionate and like a cuddle or like helping them in some way is if there is like an emergency. Like my kid is going to put their hand on the stove and I'm like slow motion. No, would smack their hand out of the way or maybe just smack them off of the chair and hole, just really got to keep them safe. Or like, I will say a true story that did happen. This is one time when I was like, I really hope nobody saw that because that probably looked really bad. But I was going to the store by myself. I have 3 children who are all very small and my youngest is walking, but not a very good independent walker yet. So recently we did get a Jeep stroller wagon, which has been a godsend and it has saved me and it has made going to the store that much easier. 10 out of 10 recommend the Jeep stroller wagon. We had a Juvie and that thing, it felt like a very cheap rinkety dinkety goat cart and I hated turning it around aisles and it only sat 2 kids. So that kind of stung. But anyway, we were going to the store and this was before I had my Jeep stroller wagon. And I was trying to get all the kids out of the car and they took off their shoes in the car as children do. So I'm like trying to get the shoes on. And as I'm like loading the smallest one into the cart and making sure I have the diaper bag and stuff, my middle child had seen a leaf, I believe it was a leaf, blowing away. And as toddlers do, as kids do, they're not thinking rationally. They're very impulsive. And so in her mind, she was like, oh, let me just go catch that leaf. And now luckily there was no cars around or anything like that. But I yelled at her. I was like, get back. No. And I grabbed her by her shirt and like pulled her back. And then I had to like stop and catch my breath. And I was like, look, okay, we're all fine, but you cannot be doing that. So 10 out of 10 recommending getting child leashes or a Jeep stroller wagon. Anyway, let's continue reading. I'm low contact with my parents because growing up, my dad was physically abusive and my mom was emotionally absent and neglectful. They are in town visiting other family members, and we all decided to have a family dinner to catch up. For some background, my boyfriend will usually get me a nicer main gift for whatever holiday we're celebrating, along with 1 or 2 smaller side gifts. The side gifts are usually something like a funny t-shirt or a stuffed animal. Last year for my birthday, one of the smaller gifts my boyfriend got me was a sweatshirt from Costco. It's just a gray sweatshirt with Cacos. Oh my God. Anyway, it's just a gray sweatshirt with Costco's logo printed repeatedly all over it. I literally almost said Costco's again. Oh gosh. My boyfriend said he just saw it and thought that I would like it, and he was right. I really like it and I wear it all the time. I wore the Costco sweatshirt to my family dinner last night, and someone at the table complimented it, and I said thanks. My boyfriend got it for my birthday. My mom scrunched up her nose and loudly said, "He got you a sweater from Costco for your birthday?" I told her that wasn't the only thing he got me for my birthday, and she replied, "Oh, good. I would never stay with a man who gave me a sweatshirt from Costco as a gift." I was pretty put off at that point, so I said, "Well, I wouldn't stay with a man who hits my kids, so I guess we have different priorities." Oh my goodness. It's like, what do people think whenever they say things like that? Like, honestly, like, what a slay response. Which I commented that on somebody's YouTube video that I love so much. I said, or no, it was a post I made on YouTube, slay response. And like, is that not an okay thing to say? Because like, one of the comments, I can't remember what they said, but one of the comments kind of made me feel old. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 26. Like, am I really that out of like the lingo that we use nowadays? Like, I don't say YOLO anymore, so that's good because I had been saying that since like 2011. My mom didn't really respond at that point, and I could tell my dad was pissed. They stayed pretty quiet throughout the rest of dinner. They don't like it when I bring up the fact that they used to hit us kids in front of other people outside of our immediate family. My mom and dad were pretty angry at me when everyone else left and told me there was no need to embarrass my mom at dinner. They asked me to apologize, and I won't. I'm second guessing though. Am I the a-hole? No, before I even read the comments to confirm if I'm right or wrong, I'm saying no, you're not, simply because they're all mad and pissy, not because they hate you, not because they abuse their children. That's not why they're upset. They're not letting that, not shame, but that guilt drive them to make amends and do better. Instead, they're upset at you for embarrassing them. No, they embarrassed themselves when they chose to do it and chose to not reflect and look back and be like, okay, like actually that wasn't okay. And I am genuinely from the bottom of my heart sorry. Is there some way that we can like make amends in this area of our relationship? Is there anything you want to get off your chest and tell me about that experience? Like, no, don't do that. Let's just sweep everything under the rug and act like there is not all this dirt in the family and then get mad at the person who tries to shine light on the familial issues, right? Isn't that what happens to all of us? And also remember, they started out this post saying I'm low contact. I would not be surprised, give them a couple years if it takes that long, and that'll change to no contact pretty soon, because I too was low contact with my very abusive parents for similar reasons. Everything was all fine and good. Everything felt normal and fine because like I could leave the house and like I had my own life at that point. Unless I brought up the childhood stuff. Yeah, then things got awkward real quick. Not the a-hole. She tried to embarrass you in front of others by criticizing your relationship. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny about that saying? First of all, I'll say it again, slay response, because yeah, like, hello, you literally criticized the relationship and tried to make fun of and put down your daughter and her boyfriend because of a gift he got her. First of all, you're not getting the gift. The gift wasn't for you. You don't have to wear the Costco sweatshirt, okay? You don't. And also, what is the point? Like, if they're happy with it, like, they're happy with it. Who cares? Literally, why do people like equate a value in a relationship and how much the partners care for each other with the value of the amount that is spent on a gift for the partner, or like the amount of the gifts or whatever? But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I had never heard that phrase ever until I moved here to Virginia. So I'm originally from Missouri, St. Louis area, and we don't say that there. Like I've, at least in all of the cities that I lived in, and I was in foster care, so I've lived with a good amount of different homes and like families. I had never heard somebody use that phrase till I moved here. And I think it was my father-in-law who said it first, but they don't say it the exact same. In Virginia, they say what's fair for the goose is fair for the gander. And for the longest time, I did not understand what that meant because I didn't know what a gander was. I was like, a gander. Like, I always, like, in my mind was like, oh, a gander, like, I'm gonna go, like, take a gander, like, a walk. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up now that I'm saying it out loud. Now I feel like maybe I don't know, but that's just a little side, okay? That's a funny phrase. It always makes me laugh because I just didn't grow up hearing it. So anyway, let's just move on. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I don't owe it to her to put her first when she never put me first in 18 years? I, 18 male, have a very strained relationship with my mom, 40 female. I never knew who my dad was. She had no name for him or any idea who he really was. I did try to find him a few months ago with some help of my friends using Ancestry and 23andMe, but it brought no results for my dad. That's something I moved on from since I can't do anything more. But back to my mom. She was more focused on herself and finding love than being a parent. And the time I lived with her when she had numerous live-in boyfriends, husbands, and fiancés, and she exposed me to angry children and exes who didn't like our presence in their lives. I never had a good experience with these families. Over the years, I have been punched in the face by older kids, shot with a BB gun, a dart gun, and some kind of rock gun, pushed out of a tree house, slapped across the face, spat on, clawed at, threatened with a knife, had a door slammed on my hand and kicked over and over again in the stomach and chest. What is going on? I am so sorry. That's literally horrific. Oh my gosh. I was also called a beep, a freak, and bullied by some of these kids in and out of school. Sometimes even after the relationship broke down, they'd still target me. I had some of the guys' exes call me a little shit and insisted I wasn't allowed to sit near them or their children. My mom never cared. The way I was treated was never the reason these relationships ended. Either someone cheated or they fought a lot about sex or money or custody issues. Some of the guys were okay to me, others ignored me. For years, I still loved my mom and often thought she could do better. Don't we all? Trauma bonds are so difficult to navigate. It really is so hard. I'd be a shoulder for her to lean on after a breakup. Even if I was black and blue from that ex's kids, I'd be there for her. But time and time again, she overlooked how I was treated and went ahead with what she wanted. There were times I talked to her and she didn't even bother listening. I went to stay with my best friend a few days before my 18th birthday, and I just didn't go back. Then I officially changed my address after my birthday and carried on with my life. My mom was living with her third husband at the time, but now her marriage has broken up and she wanted to move in with me. I told her she wasn't moving in and she needed to figure stuff out on her own. She told me that's no way to speak to her. She's my mom, etc. When I didn't give in, she said I owe it to her to put her first right now and take care of her because she needs it. I ended the call and I texted her that I don't owe it to her when she never put me first in 18 years. I went into all of the reasons why she failed as a mom and why she had some fucking nerve asking me to take care of her and put her first. She told me I had no idea what life was like for her and how hard being a single mom is, and being grateful to her for giving me life would be a start. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I read the title of that one, I knew it was going to be bad, but where my mind went is like similar to what he described is like, oh, she probably whenever we hear of like women not putting their kids first, it oftentimes is because of a man. So that's instantly where my mind went. But then they shared everything that went on with it. And just as a parent, I can't imagine putting a love interest before my own children, let alone turning such a blind eye to a life that I created and just not see them as a human being. And it's like also hard for me to like read it and stuff because I can relate a lot. My mother always put men before me, always. And when my stepdad cheated on my mom, that was the first time in my life that I felt like close with her. Well, I guess I should say the second time in my life. The first time was when I was a toddler and we were dancing in the living room to Shania Twain. But nothing after that until my stepdad cheated on her. And when my stepdad cheated on her, she was all of a sudden really nice to me. And wanted to spend time with me. At least that in my childlike brain is how I interpreted it. But in reality, what was happening is she was fulfilling the void that he left with me and basically engaging in emotional incest with me by like making me feel so loved and like she's always admired me and stuff, but then turning around and just using me to go on my Facebook, which why did I have a Facebook that young anyway, but go on my Facebook and stalk my stepdad's new girlfriend. And then she would sit there and make me engage in bullying her and like, you know, just talking very poorly of her and stuff. And so it's like super difficult because then when she and my stepdad got back together, it was just back to the way it was all of a sudden. And she didn't care about me. She didn't care about what was happening behind that closed bedroom door between me and her husband. She didn't care about any of that. And mind you, at the time when the cheating and separation occurred was after I had already disclosed to my mom what he was trying to make me do with him. And she cared more about the fact that she got her man back than the fact that she just let a pedophile back into her home, because all she cared about was her having a man and her feeling complete, I guess. And no, I don't think that you're the asshole at all. I don't think that children owe it to parents. I don't think children owe anything to parents, especially if you've been a bad parent. And there is no way that you can convince me that these kinds of parents like my parents, don't know that they weren't bad parents. They just want you to also believe that they weren't bad parents. It doesn't matter to them if they know it or not. Like, they just need you to believe that they weren't. They need you to feel like it's your fault so that they can guilt trip you into doing what they need you to do for them. And it's a very toxic, abusive cycle, a power dynamic cycle, really, because it doesn't matter that you may be 30 years old and your parent is 60 years old. There's still a power dynamic in the fact that they had 30 years of life on you before you were even born. Like, they know better. They know better, and they don't want you to know that they know better, because that keeps us in their grasp. Like, as a parent, I'll know that I've done a good job by my kids simply wanting me to be involved in their life, by my kids wanting to come spend time with me to help me. My kids don't owe that to me. If I haven't earned it, then I haven't earned it. And that's why as parents, it's so important that we be teachable forever so that we can be constantly learning and growing and evolving to be the best parent for each of our children individually, and be willing to be wrong and fix your wrong. Keep working on yourself and keep doing better. Am I the a-hole for not being more involved in my mom's new family and not taking on a role as an older brother? I, 18 male, live with my paternal grandparents and I'm in college. I live 25 minutes from my mom, so we're not too far from each other. And during the week, I'm in school, and on the weekends, I work. I make sure to take a couple hours to meet mom for a late lunch or a coffee or something, but that's not what this is about. My dad died when I was 7, and it was me and my mom until I moved out. A few months before I moved out, she had started dating a guy called Brad. I met him, I met his kids, and they were fine. They moved in about 3 months ago, and now mom and Brad are engaged. Brad's parents moved to live close to their son and grandkids, so they're a few houses away from my mom and I. I met them twice. I don't have a whole lot to do with Brad or his kids. I have been asked to babysit a few times, and I always said no because I had other plans. My mom seemed okay with that, though she has mentioned a few times that she'd love for me to spend more time with them and stuff. I do see them occasionally, but nowhere near as much as I see my mom. My mom's birthday was the other weekend, and she had a small party at her house to celebrate. I was there and I interacted with everyone just fine, but my focus was on mom. During the party, she and Brad left the house for a few to pick up her gift. Brad's dad was with the kids, and his mom approached me. She told me the kids had been looking forward to spending time with me, and instead I was interacting with others more and focused only on mom. This was the second time I met this woman. She told me Brad had hoped he'd get to spend some time with me as well. She said it looked like I was only interested in maintaining a relationship with mom and not on building my family. I asked her what business it was of hers, and she told me her family are the ones involved. She said my grandparents had set a bad precedent by not claiming Brad's kids as honorary grandkids and embracing the fact mom had moved on from dad. This woman told me I should be doing more, though. That if I love my mom, I will love her family and accept them into my family. I moved away from her so there wouldn't be a fight or anything, and once mom and Brad were back, she didn't try to approach me again. I didn't say anything to mom, and we went for lunch the week after. But after our lunch, Brad's mom texted me. She got my number from my mom or Brad. and she scolded me, or whatever you'd call it, for meeting with mom for time but not organizing something for us all to do and spending the time I spend with her with mom's family. She said it could be as easy as going to mom's house and being a part of the family and being the big brother to the kids. I told my mom about the stuff Brad's mom had said. Brad came in as we were talking, and he said he'd speak to them, but that he would love if I was more involved. He said he'd love a relationship with his kids. He said not to babysit, but even just to hang out so they can have an older brother. My mom said she was sorry about the stuff Brad's mom had done, and she asked me how I felt about maybe being a big brother. I told her I'd see what happens with Brad's kids, but I wasn't planning to sign up for being an older brother. I told her they'd probably seem more like cousins to me. She was upset. Then Brad's mom texted again, and I quickly blocked her. She asked why I had to go to her son like that when she was trying to talk some sense into me and help her family. Am I the a-hole? All right, guys, that's where we're going to have to end it today because my phone keeps saying that I am out of storage. And I've already went through my camera roll and like deleted a ton of stuff. So I don't know. But it had to be short and sweet today. Sorry about that. If you like this video, please like and comment and share your thoughts. This is a discussion. We are always open for discussion over here. And also don't forget to subscribe if you like my content. And I guess I'll see you on the next one because I'm definitely not going to get to see you much more today. And I'm going to need to figure out what I need to delete on my phone so that I can record a long video for you guys this weekend, which, by the way, I'll let you in on what it's going to be. I will be interviewing my husband on growing up in purity culture and how he feels like that has affected him, how he feels like it's possibly affected our marriage, because I know it has affected our marriage. So if you guys have any questions for my husband, drop them down below. A little background on him is he was raised independent fundamental Baptist since he was literally in his mother's stomach, and we deconstructed about 3 years ago, I want to say. So yeah, for like the major part of his life, he believed it, he was indoctrinated into it, and it definitely has affected him. So if you guys have any questions that you want to know from that perspective of a deconstructed man growing up in that culture, drop them down below. I know that I'm making my list of questions, and I'm really excited to be able to sit him down and make a video with him and share him with you guys because he's pretty cool and I really like him a lot. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Saturday. Well, no, Sunday. It'll be Sunday because I film and edit on Saturday. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Thank you for watching.